When I introduce myself as a photographer. I don't do photography, I am a photographer. It's how I view the world. It's how I interact with people. It's how I make my connections. It's how I document my life. It's everything to me. I think I have a very raw and honest way of photographing, and I try to have a very natural lens. I've learned and honed my advocacy through photography. Kia ora, my name's Becki Moss. I am a 26-year-old full-time photographer. I am demi and pansexual, a queer woman, and I am also chronically ill and disabled. I have chronic kidney disease and also as a result severe hypertension, endometriosis and chronic fatigue syndrome. Every day I have morning meds, which are 2 types of blood pressure medication. I've got one supplement at the moment which helps control urinary bacteria, gabapentin for pain, antidepressant, the contraceptive pill to help with my endometriosis. Midday, I also take some more gabapentin. Mum always jokes how long it would take if I stopped taking my meds before I died, which is a bit of dark humor, but I think every parent with chronically ill kids has some dark humor. The way I would describe an invisible disability is someone that doesn't look disabled to most people in society, often are taken less seriously. It's something I'm very passionate about because I think there needs to be more space in the rainbow community and in rainbow community events for people with all disabilities to actually be there. In terms of mobility aids, I consider myself an ambulatory mobility aid user because my mobility needs and accessibility needs fluctuate. That also depends on what aid I will use at that time. I have a cane/walking stick. I have a wheelchair, and I also have this fold-up camping chair I got from the op shop. I went to the Matariki Te Karangahape event in May last year here on Karangahape Road, and I know at those events that there's nowhere really to sit. My partner at the time actually carried a dining chair the whole way around for me so that I always had somewhere to sit. So I'm just cleaning my camera gear in preparation for going to Karangahape Road to photograph some of the spots that are inaccessible to people with disabilities. This year I really want to show how things can be done differently and how the space can be made more accessible. Trying to keep an open mind, but also not having hopes up too much. I am 26. I realized I was queer when I was 23. And it wasn't until I actually became immersed within the queer creative community that I was able to really question my sexuality and kind of realize it. Queer Portraits of Auckland started in 2019, and it was my first time immersing myself into the rainbow community of Auckland. I started going to events and asking people to take their portraits. I'm lucky so many of those people are now my friends. At the time, complete strangers. I think I see Karangahape as this incredible hub of history. I think it's sometimes reductive for it to be only seen as a queer space. I read this great essay about how K Road is not only a safe haven for queer people, it's a safe haven for many minorities and always has been, and because of that, it is a safe haven for queer people. I love Karangahape Road. It is, however, extremely inaccessible, which is why I don't spend as much time here as I want to, and why a lot of my disabled friends don't spend as much time here as they want to. I love going to gigs here, but they're tiny. They come downstairs. I have friends who can't go downstairs. People often talk about the disabled community as the big minority that no one ever thinks about and no one talks about. And I think that rings true within the queer community that is supposed to be a very open, accepting and welcoming space. It's been really good to actually just take the time to slowly look around and take note of all those little bits that you don't notice. You don't realize how inaccessible those are for people who do use wheelchairs like all the time. More people would benefit from actually taking a moment to stop and look at the ground that they're walking on. I knew that there was always a mobility parking bay here. I didn't, however, realize that it's only for 30 minutes because disabled people only eat dinner for 30 minutes. Like, why the limit? Like, most other places for parking mobility bays in Auckland are like 120 or like 60 minutes minimum. It also has an actual ledge to get off the road, so it's inaccessible for a lot of people. And this is the only one. And there's a lot of restaurants and everything down here. And Uber just completely missed out this entire segment that it could have stopped in to stop there. Yeah, it's kind of pointless. Even though that, like, it technically exists, it's not accessible in multiple different ways. Even just the fact of, like, parking there and having buses actively have to drive around you would feel awful. Like, things like that make people feel awful. My hopes for the future of the queer disabled community is that we get a voice and our voice gets louder and louder. I hope it is safe enough COVID-wise for us to be in spaces, and that when we're back allowed in those spaces, that those spaces are a little bit more accessible and understanding. If there was a way that there could be more funding to retrofit or refit out these buildings to make them more accessible, it would be amazing.